My name is Lee. I'm 35 years old, and right now I'm standing in front of the house where I grew up. I don't know why I'm here. I should have turned around by now, walked away, but I didn't. It feels like my feet are stuck in place, as if the ground beneath me knows something I don't. And truth be told, I'm not sure I want to find out. I've spent most of my adult life trying to outrun the past, but no matter how far I run, I always find myself back here. The old house, the old wounds, the old family that never really knew how to love me the way I needed. I can feel it, the weight of everything that's wrong with this place, with me, with them. It's a strange feeling to stand in the same spot where you once felt safe and now feel like an intruder. Everything's different. It's me who's changed, not this house, not these walls. I think about my daughter, Grace. 8 years old and already so much more mature than I was at her age. She doesn't know the full story yet. She doesn't understand what's been happening, and I'll do everything in my power to protect her from that. But I can't shield her forever. Before I continue, let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where you thought you knew your family, your loved ones, but then a moment arrives that makes you question everything? A hidden truth that's been buried for too long? That's what I'm facing right now. Behind the smiles and the everything's fine facade, my family is falling apart, and it's time I stop pretending it's not happening. If you think you've seen it all when it comes to family drama, trust me, you're about to see something that will make you rethink everything. Will love truly heal these wounds, or will it make things worse? Stick with me because this story is about to get real, and you won't want to miss what happens next. If you want to follow this journey and uncover the truth, make sure to subscribe and leave a comment below. What do you think is really happening behind the scenes? Can they fix things, or has the damage already been done? Now, back to where I was. The air is thick with tension. It's cold for a late spring evening. The kind of cold that gets under your skin and makes you feel like something's about to happen, something big, something irreversible. And honestly, I'm not sure I'm ready for it, but it's here. I just got the call from my mom, the one that always comes right when I'm least expecting it. "Lee, we need you to help your sister," she said, her voice cool and direct. I could practically hear the unspoken words. Again. And I knew what was coming next. The guilt trip. The way my sister, Emily, would somehow be the one in need, and I'd be the one who had to clean up the mess. Emily is 32, but she still hasn't figured out how to stand on her own 2 feet. She's always had and every time I've been the one to pick up the pieces. But this time I'm done. It's not like I've never been asked to help before. I've always been the responsible one, the dependable one. But after years of doing this for Emily, after years of ignoring my own needs to fix her problems, something inside me snapped. I couldn't do it anymore. I shouldn't have to do it anymore. As I turn to leave the front porch, I hear a car pull into the driveway. My stomach drops. I don't need to see who it is to know. Mom and Dad, of course. They pull up, and my mom doesn't even wait for the car to fully stop before she's out and walking toward me, her heels clicking sharply on the driveway. "Lee," she starts, her voice flat, like she's already decided what I'm going to say before I even open my mouth. "Emily needs you again." I stand there, frozen for a second, trying to figure out how to say it, how to explain that I can't keep doing this. But when I open my mouth, the words won't come. "Not yet. You need to help her, Lee," my mom insists, and there's that familiar edge in her voice. The one that tells me she's not asking, she's telling me. I feel the blood rushing in my ears. Everything inside me is screaming to say no. But how do you say no to family? To your mother? And that's when it hits me, the truth I've been avoiding for years. I've spent my whole life letting them dictate my choices, letting their needs define me. This stops now. I look at my mom, and for the first time in a long time, I feel a fire burning inside me, a spark of something I thought I'd lost. I'm sorry, but I can't do this anymore, I say, my voice low but firm. I can't keep saving Emily. Not this time. Her eyes narrow. You don't mean that, she says, but I can hear the uncertainty beneath the surface. And for the first time, I realize she doesn't know what to do when I don't play the role she's always expected me to play. I take a step back, pulling my jacket tighter around me. I do mean it, I say. I'm done. And then, in that moment, I know this isn't just about Emily or my mom. It's about me. I've been living under their shadow for so long, and I'm done being invisible. Done being the one who always gives. Done being the one who never gets to ask for anything. I turn away from the house, my steps steady now. For the first time, I don't feel guilty. For the first time, I feel a weight lifting off my shoulders. But I know it's not over yet. They won't let it go. And neither will I. The next morning is worse than I expected. The sun is barely up, but the weight of yesterday lingers in the air, thick and suffocating. I wake up with my heart still racing, thoughts spinning in my head like a storm that won't let me rest. I stare at the ceiling, the quiet of the house only making everything feel more oppressive. I can still hear my mom's voice, still feel the sharp sting of her words. We're family, Lee. The phrase rings in my ears, and for a second I almost question myself. Was I wrong? Was I really doing the right thing by pushing them away? But then I look over at Grace. She's still sleeping, her small body curled up under the blanket. In the soft morning light, she looks so innocent, so untouched by the mess that's swirling around us. I can't let her grow up like I did. I can't let her believe that it's okay to put everyone else's needs above your own until there's nothing left of yourself. I get out of bed quietly, trying not to wake her. My body aches, a physical reminder of the toll all this emotional chaos is taking on me. But I know I can't turn back now. I shuffle into the kitchen, the smell of stale coffee still lingering from last night. I make a fresh pot, my hands steady despite the turmoil inside. I don't know how to calm my mind. Everything feels like it's unraveling, but somehow I'm holding on. I can still feel the coldness of the door handle in my hand when I closed it on my parents yesterday. The finality of it. I've never done anything like that before, cutting them off like that, drawing the line. And even though the decision felt right in the moment, the aftermath is far more complicated. Now, all I can feel is the fear creeping in. What if they never forgive me? What if they tell everyone I'm crazy? What if I lose everything, my family, my sense of self, everything I've worked so hard for? And then there's Grace. I'm doing this for her, but what if she ends up resenting me one day? What if she doesn't understand? I sit down at the table, my coffee cooling in front of me, but I don't even take a sip. I just stare at the swirling liquid, my mind racing again. The doorbell rings, sharp and unexpected, pulling me out of my spiraling thoughts. My heart skips a beat as I look toward the door. I know who it is before I even open it. I take a deep breath, feeling my pulse quicken. I should be bracing myself for another confrontation, but a part of me just wants to disappear. To not deal with this, to not deal with them. But I can't hide forever. I walk slowly to the door, my mind caught between fear and defiance. When I open it, my mom's standing there, her face a mixture of frustration and disappointment. She doesn't even say anything at first, just stands there, as if waiting for me to explain myself. I told you, I can't help Emily anymore, I say, my voice more certain this time, though my hands are still shaking. You think you're just going to walk away from all of this. She snaps. You think you're better than us now? You think you can just turn your back on your own family? Her words sting, but I hold my ground. The guilt is still there, but it's not the paralyzing guilt I've lived with for so long. No, this is something different. This is a quiet rage simmering beneath the surface, a fire that's been building up for years. I take a deep breath, holding her gaze. I'm not turning my back, Mom. I'm choosing me. For once, I'm choosing myself. The words feel foreign in my mouth, but at the same time, they feel right. It's the first time in my life I've spoken with such conviction. And when I say it again, it's like something clicks inside me. I am choosing myself. I feel the weight of the decision, the responsibility of it, but for the first time, I'm not crushed by it. I feel free, her eyes narrow. You think this is going to be easy, huh? You think you. I nod slowly, my voice steady. I don't know if it'll be easy, but I know it's what I have to do. For me, for Grace. There's silence between us, the air thick with unspoken words. I don't know what she's thinking, but I know what I'm feeling. I'm scared. I'm terrified of what comes next, of the fallout of losing them. But I also know that I'm not going to keep living my life like this. Not anymore. I turn to walk back into the house, but she steps forward, blocking the door. You think this will fix anything? You think this will make everything better? You can't just ignore us, Lee. You can't pretend like none of this matters. I feel the walls closing in, the pressure building again. But this time, I don't cave. I stand tall, my voice unwavering. I'm not ignoring you. I'm not pretending. But I can't keep letting you use me. I've spent my whole life trying to fix things for everyone else, and look where it's gotten me. I have to stop. Her face softens for a second, the anger giving way to something else. I don't know if it's regret or just frustration, but I don't wait to find out. I step past her, closing the door gently behind me. The moment feels final, but it's not over yet, I know that. But for now, I've made my choice. I'm done being everyone else's fixer. I'm done being invisible. I'm choosing me, and no one can take that from me. It's been a week since I closed the door on my parents. A week since I finally stood up for myself, or at least that's what I'm telling myself. Some days, it feels like I made the right choice, like I'm finally taking control of my life. Other days, it feels like the world is closing in, and I'm not sure if I made a mistake. Grace is still adjusting. I can see it in the way she watches me, the quiet questions in her eyes that she's too afraid to ask. She's never seen me like this, strong, determined, unyielding. She's used to the version of me that puts everyone else first, the one who gives and gives until there's nothing left. I wonder if she'll hate me for this. Some nights, when the house is quiet, I can still hear my mom's voice in my head, her accusations echoing. You think you're better than us now? You can't just turn your back on family. And it makes me wonder, am I really turning my back on them? Or am I finally standing up for myself for once in my life? I spend my days in a strange kind of numbness. It's like I'm walking through fog, not sure of where I'm going, but knowing I can't stop moving. I go to work, I come home, and I try to be present for Grace. But there's an ache deep inside of me that won't go away, no matter how much I try to ignore it. I don't know how to fix this. I don't even know if I can. The phone rings, and I don't even need to look at the screen to know who it is. My mom. The same number, the same caller ID that's been haunting me since I made that choice. My stomach tightens as I pick up, but I don't speak right away. I can already feel the weight of the conversation before it even begins. Lee, she says, her voice calm but cold. We need to talk. I take a deep breath, bracing myself. I'm listening. There's a pause on the other end of the line, a silence that stretches on just a little too long. When she finally speaks, her words are clipped, like she's trying to hold herself together. This isn't just about you anymore. Emily's in trouble again, and I need you to help. I swallow hard, my chest tightening. My mind is already racing, the familiar guilt creeping in. Emily. She's always been the one who can't seem to get her act together, always the one who needs saving. Mom, I say, my voice steady but strained, I can't keep doing this. I've told you that. I'm not going to fix Emily anymore. You think I want to keep asking you for help? My mom's voice cracks, and for a moment I almost feel sorry for her. Almost. But you're the only one who can help her. You're the only one who cares enough to do anything. I close my eyes, feeling a wave of frustration wash over me. I care about her, but I can't fix her. You don't get it, do you? This isn't my responsibility. There's a long silence on the other end. I can feel the tension building. Then finally, my mom speaks again, her tone quieter now. You're turning your back on us, Lee, and one day you'll regret it. The words hit like a punch. Regret it. The one thing I've been terrified of since I made that decision. But then I think about Grace. I think about how she's watching me, how I can't let her grow up believing that she has to sacrifice herself for everyone else. I can't keep teaching her that love means losing yourself. I'm doing this for her. I remind myself of that. I have to keep reminding myself of that. I'm not turning my back on anyone, I say quietly. I'm just not going to lose myself in the process. I'm not going to be your punching bag anymore. There's another long silence. And then, finally, my mom speaks again, her voice small and tired. You've changed, Lee. I don't know if I can deal with this version of you. I close my eyes, a single tear slipping down my cheek. I haven't changed, Mom. I've finally woken up. I'm sorry if that's hard for you to accept, but I'm done pretending. The line goes quiet again. And for the first time in days, I feel like I can breathe. I hang up the phone without saying goodbye. And as I do, something inside of me shifts. It's like the weight that's been pressing down on my chest for so long has finally lifted, just a little. Not completely. I'm not fooling myself into thinking this is over. But it's a start. Grace walks into the room, her small face lighting up when she sees me. Mom, are we okay? I look at her, and for a moment, I see the child she still is, the one who believes in simple truths. The one who believes that love is enough. And for the first time in a long time, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. We're okay, sweetheart, I say, my voice soft. We're going to be okay. I pull her into a hug, holding her tight, and for a moment the world outside doesn't matter. It's just us. Just me and her, standing strong in the face of everything that's threatening to break us. But deep down, I know the truth. This is far from over. The hardest part is still to come. The silence that follows the call with my mom lingers, like a fog that refuses to lift. I sit in the kitchen long after Grace has gone to bed, staring at the empty cup of coffee in front of me. My fingers trace the edge of the mug, the heat from it long gone, but it doesn't matter. Nothing feels warm right now. I've done it. I've made the decision. But it's like this weight keeps settling deeper inside me, heavier every day. And I can't figure out if it's the right choice or if I've just doomed myself to a lifetime of regret. Every part of me wants to believe that standing up for myself, finally saying no after all these years, is the right thing. But then the other part of me, the part that was trained to give, to fix, to sacrifice, keeps whispering that I'm wrong. You'll regret this, my mom's voice echoes in my mind. It cuts deeper than I want to admit. But I remind myself of Grace. I remind myself that if I don't protect her, if I don't show her that boundaries are necessary, that self-respect matters more than the approval of others, then I'll fail her too. And that thought terrifies me more than any of the consequences I'm facing now. The next morning, I wake up to a text message from Emily. I've been avoiding her, trying to make space, trying to find the strength to keep my distance. But now she's reaching out, and part of me knows this moment will be a turning point. It'll either make or break everything. I need to talk, please. I know you're angry, but I don't know what to do anymore. I'm sorry. I feel the weight of her words before I even read them fully. She's always been the one who can make me feel like I'm responsible for her mistakes, always pulling me in with her helplessness, always needing me to save her. And I've been doing it for years, thinking that maybe, just maybe, if I keep saving her, things will change. But I know better now. I know that nothing will ever change unless she makes the choice to help herself. I stare at the screen, torn between the desire to reach out and comfort her and the gnawing feeling that I've done enough. That it's time for her to stand on her own. It feels like my heart is being pulled in two directions, each one more painful than the last. For a moment, I wonder if it would be easier just to give in. To text back and say, okay, I'll help you, because that's what I've always done. But that's not the answer anymore. Not for me, not for Grace, not for any of us. I take a deep breath, my fingers shaking as I type out my response. Emily, I love you, but I can't keep doing this. I've been there for you over and over and nothing changes. You need to take responsibility for your own life. I can't fix this anymore. When I hit send, a lump forms in my throat. I sit there, staring at the screen, waiting for her reply. Part of me is bracing for the anger, the disappointment, the guilt she'll likely throw my way. But I know it's coming. I know this is the price I have to pay for setting boundaries. Her response comes quickly, and when I read it, my stomach drops. You think I'm not trying? You think I want to be like this? You've always been the strong one, Lee. I've always been the screw-up. But I'm your sister. I need you. I don't know what to do anymore. I close my eyes, letting the words sink in. I don't know if she's asking for forgiveness or just manipulating me into feeling sorry for her. Maybe a little bit of both. But the truth is, I can't fix her anymore. I can't keep carrying her weight on my shoulders, pretending that I have all the answers. I don't know how to tell her this. I don't know how to explain that I can't keep being her safety net, her savior, because in the process, I've lost myself. The silence. I thought I was strong because I always did what was asked of me. I thought I was strong because I kept giving, even when it hurt. But real strength, true strength, is in knowing when to walk away. It's in knowing when to stop giving so that you can save what's left of yourself. I feel tears welling up, but this time, they're not tears of defeat. They're tears of release. For the first time in a long time, I'm not carrying everyone else's pain. I'm not sacrificing myself to make things easier for them. For the first time in a long time, I'm choosing myself. It's not going to be easy. I know that. The road ahead is going to be rough, but I can't live in fear of what might happen if I keep saying no. I can't keep living like I have no right to exist outside of my family's needs. I stand up from the kitchen table, my legs a little shaky, but stronger than they've ever been. I walk over to Grace's room, where she's still asleep, her small chest rising and falling with each breath. I kneel beside her bed and watch her sleep for a moment, my heart full of love for her. She's everything to me. And I know, deep down, I have to be everything to myself too. As I kiss her forehead, I whisper, I'm doing this for you, baby. I'm doing this for both of us. The days that follow are a blur. I go through the motions, but it feels like I'm walking through life with weights around my ankles. Each step is slow, deliberate. I'm trying to hold on, trying to keep my footing in this new version of myself, but it's harder than I imagined. The decision to stand firm, to finally let go of the responsibility I've carried for so long, wasn't easy. In fact, some days it feels like I'm suffocating under the pressure of it. It feels like I've burned a bridge that can't be rebuilt, and even though I know I did the right thing for me, the guilt doesn't let go. Not yet. Grace can sense it too. She's quiet, more reserved than usual. She watches me with those big eyes of hers, like she's trying to figure out what's going on, but she doesn't know how to ask. She's too young to understand all the layers of hurt that have built up over the years, but I see it in her face. The tension, the worry. She's worried about me. She's always been so in tune with the emotions of everyone around her, but she doesn't know how to carry this weight. I can't let her. I look at her sometimes, and I wonder if I've made the right choice. Am I doing the right thing? Should I have just helped Emily one more time? Should I have gone back to being the version of myself that could fix everything, make everything okay? But then I think about my own brokenness. I think about how much of myself I've sacrificed, how much I've lost in the name of trying to keep everyone else whole. I can't go back to that. I can't. The phone rings again. It's been days since I last spoke to my mom, but I know what's coming. I feel it deep in my gut, the weight of her expectations, the guilt she's about to try to lay on me again. I don't want to answer. I don't want to hear her voice, laced with disappointment and anger. But I have to. I brace myself and pick up the phone. Lee, my mom's voice is cold, but there's a tremor underneath. We need to talk. I swallow, my throat tight. I already know what's coming. I don't want to talk right now, Mom. You think I'm doing this because I want to? She snaps. You think I'm trying to make your life harder. You think I want you to feel this way. You're my daughter. I've done everything for you, and now you're turning your back on us? I close my eyes for a moment, trying to steady my breathing. Her words hit me harder than I want to admit. Every part of me wants to crumble under the weight of it, to apologize, to fall back into the familiar pattern of giving in. But I don't. Not this time. I'm not turning my back on you, Mom, I say, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside me. I'm just not going to keep carrying your burden anymore. I can't keep fixing everything for everyone. There's a long pause. I can hear her breathing on the other end of the line. I'm sure she's shocked, hurt, angry, but I can't apologize for that anymore. This is the choice I've made, and it's terrifying. You don't understand, she says finally, her voice small now, like she's not sure how to keep going. You don't know what it's like to be in my shoes. I let her words hang in the air for a moment, then respond, no, I don't. But I know what it's like to be in mine, to feel like I'm never enough, to feel like I'm always just here to fix everyone's problems. But I'm not that person anymore. Another long silence stretches between us. It's different this time. The tension is still there, but it's not the same. There's something quieter now, like maybe we both know that this is it. This is the shift. I don't know what happens next, but I feel something inside of me snap into place. I can't keep doing this for you, Mom, I say softly, but firmly. I can't keep giving myself away. I have to save something for me. There's a shakiness in her voice when she replies. I don't know if I can accept this version of you, Lee. I don't know who you are anymore. I swallow hard, trying to hold back the tears that threaten to spill. Who am I? It's the question I've been asking myself for months, maybe even years. I don't have an answer, not yet. But I know one thing. I'm finally learning how to be myself, even if that means losing the person my mom wants me to be. I'm sorry, Mom, I say, my voice breaking a little, but I have to do this for me. I need this for myself, and I need you to understand that. The line goes quiet, and for a moment I'm afraid she's going to hang up. But then I hear her soft voice again, this time quieter, almost resigned. I don't know if I'll ever understand, but I guess I have to try. I take a deep breath, the weight in my chest loosening just a little. I'm here, Mom, but I'm not the person I used to be, and I'm not going back. We both hang up without saying goodbye. The silence that follows is deafening, but it's a silence I've learned. I sit down at the kitchen table, letting the tears come. I've been holding so much in for so long. And even though it hurts, I know it's the right kind of hurt. The kind that means I'm finally standing up for myself. The kind that means I'm learning how to live for me, not for everyone else. Grace comes into the room, her small face scrunched in confusion. Mom, are you okay? I wipe my eyes quickly, trying to pull myself together. I take a deep breath and smile at her, my heart swelling with love. Yeah, baby, I'm okay. We're going to be okay. She climbs into my lap, resting her head on my chest. I love you, Mom. And in that moment, with her arms wrapped around me, I finally believe it. For the first time in a long time, I believe that maybe everything really will be okay. Not perfect, not easy, but okay. And that's enough. For now, it's enough. The days are quieter now, but the silence is still heavy, like it's holding its breath, waiting for something to break. I've spent so much of my life in noise, constant demands, never-ending guilt, the unspoken pressure to be everything for everyone else. But now, there's nothing but this stillness. I thought it would feel freeing. I thought that finally letting go of the expectations would give me the space to breathe, to find myself. And in some ways, it has. I'm starting to feel like I can breathe again, like I don't have to carry the weight of everyone's mistakes on my shoulders anymore. But in other ways, it's harder than I imagined. The guilt is always there, lurking just beneath the surface. It's like a shadow that follows me wherever I go. My mom hasn't called since that last conversation, and even though I know it was the right thing to do, the silence is deafening. I can feel the distance growing between us, and even though I know it's necessary, it doesn't make it easier. I don't know if I can ever be the daughter she wants me to be. I don't know if I can ever be the person who fixes everything. I've spent years living for other people, hiding my needs, pushing my boundaries aside because I thought that was what love was. I thought it was about sacrifice, about giving until there was nothing left. But now I know that love isn't about losing yourself. It's about finding yourself and protecting that person at all costs. Grace is doing better. She's more at ease, more confident. I can see it in the way she interacts with people, in the way she looks at me. I used to think that by constantly giving, by putting everyone else's needs first, I was doing the right thing. But now I can see the impact it had on Grace. She watched me sacrifice everything, my time, my energy, my sense of self, and for what? To be left feeling empty. To teach her that she had to do the same? No. That's not the life I want for her, but I can't ignore the tension in the air. I can't shake the feeling that something's still unresolved. That something is waiting to happen. The phone rings again, and my stomach sinks. I don't need to look at the screen to know who it is. It's my mom. I hesitate before answering. The phone feels like a hot coal in my hand, but I have no choice. I need to face this. Hello. Lee, her voice is strained, quieter than before. There's something different in the way she says my name. I've been thinking a lot about what you said, And I don't know how to fix this. I don't know how to go back to how things were. But I want to try. I close my eyes, feeling the weight of her words settle into my chest. For a moment, I don't know how to respond. Part of me wants to give in. Part of me wants to go back to that place where I could just make everything better. But I can't, I won't. Mom, I'm not going back. I can't. This is what I need now. I need space. I need to be who I am, not who you want me to be. Her silence on the other end of the line is thick, like she's trying to understand, trying to find a way to accept what I'm saying. After what feels like an eternity, she finally speaks, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know how to be a mother to this version of you. And that hits me harder than I expected. It's not the anger I was expecting. It's the sadness. The resignation. Like she's already mourning something that's not even gone yet. And it hurts. It hurts in ways I didn't anticipate. I know, Mom, I say, my voice softer now. But this is who I am. And I'm sorry that it's not what you expected. But I'm not sorry for choosing me. She doesn't respond at first. I think she's holding back tears, or maybe just trying to process the reality of it all. I don't know if she'll ever understand, but I know this is the only way forward. I hope one day you can see that this was the right choice. I continue, my voice steady, though the words feel like they're being pulled from deep within me. I hope you can understand that I'm not abandoning you, but I have to live for myself now. I can't keep living in your shadow. There's another long silence before she speaks again, her voice cracked but quieter. Maybe I'm the one who needs to change. I just don't know how, Lee. And there it is. The first hint of her acknowledging the reality, the truth that we're both stuck in a pattern that needs to break. But it's not enough yet. Not enough to heal the years of hurt, of unspoken expectations, of pain that we've both tried to bury. I know, Mom, I whisper. But we can't fix it all in one conversation. Maybe someday we'll get there. But for now, I need you to know that I'm okay. And I need you to be okay, too. I hang up the phone without saying goodbye. I know it's not the end. I know it's not a perfect resolution. But it's a step forward, and that's all I can ask for right now. Grace comes into the room, her small hands clutching a book she's been reading. She looks at me with those same questioning eyes, the ones that see more than I give her credit for. Mom, are we okay? I smile at her, a real smile this time, the kind that comes from a place of peace. Yeah, sweetheart, we're okay. We're going to be okay. She climbs into my lap, wrapping her arms around me like she's afraid to let go. I hold her tight, feeling the weight of the world lift just a little. For the first time in a long time, I believe it. I believe that maybe, just maybe, things are going to be okay. I'm not sure what the future holds. I'm not sure if my relationship with my mom will ever be the same. But I know this, I'm not going to lose myself again. Not for anyone, not for anything. And for that, I'll keep fighting. It's strange how much can change in just a few weeks. The emptiness I felt in the beginning, the silence that seemed to smother everything, is starting to shift. Not because everything is magically better, but because I'm learning how to live with the uncertainty. I'm learning how to make peace with the pieces of myself I thought I'd lost. Grace is adjusting. She's more herself now, lighter, freer, in ways I haven't seen in a long time. I watch her as she runs around the yard in the mornings, her laughter echoing through the air. And I realize I've been so focused on saving everyone else that I forgot to let her just be. Let her breathe without the weight of my struggles hanging over her every move. But I still can't shake the lingering question that haunts me. Am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right choices for her, for me, for the future? I spend hours each day wondering what kind of mother I am. The kind that sets boundaries and teaches her daughter that self-worth is more important than endless sacrifice. Or the kind that walks away when it's too hard to face the reality of the past. I wish I had the answers. I wish I could just see the path ahead clearly, instead of stumbling through the darkness, one uncertain step at a time. The phone rings again. I don't know why it still shocks me every time. Maybe it's because I expect it to be my mom, or Emily, or some other person I've left behind in this battle for my own life. But this time, it's someone I haven't heard from in a while, my best friend, Sarah. Her name lights up the screen, and I feel a flicker of relief. At least someone still sees me for who I am, not for the roles I've played. I answer it quickly, not wanting to miss her voice. "Lee, how are you?" Sarah's voice is light, cheerful, and I almost forget what this conversation is going to be about. "Hey, Sarah," I say, forcing a smile, though I can hear the hesitation in my own voice. "I'm managing. Things are moving forward, I guess." "Good to hear," she replies, her tone still light. But then there's a pause. "Listen, I've been meaning to ask you, have you thought about seeing a therapist? I know it's been a lot. I know you've been trying to handle everything on your own, but I don't know, it might help to talk to someone." Her words land heavily on me, like bricks dropping into a deep, still lake. I stare out the window, not seeing anything at all. I've been avoiding this thought, this truth. I know I need help, I know I can't carry all this alone forever. But asking for help, admitting that I need it, is like swallowing glass. I don't know, I say, my voice quieter now. It's hard to even think about. Sarah doesn't push me. She knows better than that. But I can hear the care in her voice as she says, "You don't have to do this alone, Lee. It's okay to need help. It's okay to admit that you're struggling. I know you want to be strong for Grace, but you're allowed to take care of yourself too." Her words hit me harder than I want to admit. Maybe it's because I'm tired of pretending I'm okay. Maybe it's because I know she's right. But every part of me wants to pull away from it, wants to shut the door on that possibility, because if I open it, I'm admitting I'm broken. I'm admitting I can't fix everything myself. "I'll think about it," I say finally, my voice small. "Promise me you'll consider it," she urges gently. "Just think about it. For you, not for anyone else. You've carried so much for so long, Lee. You don't have to carry it alone anymore." I swallow hard, blinking away the tears that have suddenly rushed to my eyes. I'm not sure why her words hit me so deeply. Maybe because I've never let myself really believe that I deserve help, that I deserve to heal. Maybe because it feels like giving up, and I've spent so much of my life fighting, refusing to give in to the pain. But right now, in this moment, I feel something shift inside me, a quiet kind of surrender. Maybe I'm allowed to be weak. Maybe I'm allowed to need someone. "Okay," I whisper, "I promise." After we hang up, the house is quiet again, and I find myself standing in the middle of the living room, wondering what the next step is. The question of whether I've done the right thing still lingers, but Sarah's words have planted a seed inside me. Maybe healing doesn't mean I have to fix everything in one go. Maybe healing is just taking one step forward, even if it's a small one. I go to Grace's room and sit beside her as she's drawing, her little fingers moving rapidly over the paper. She looks up at me with that bright, open face that still believes in the world's goodness. I feel that pang of guilt again. How many times have I let my fears control the way I parent her? How many times have I allowed my own brokenness to take away her peace? "Mom," Grace says, her voice sweet and soft, "look at the picture I made for you." I glance at the paper. It's a drawing of a house, just like the one we talked about before. But this time, she's added flowers, bright and colorful, blooming all around it. It's beautiful, I say, smiling at her, just like you. She beams, proud of her work, and for the first time in a while, I feel a spark of something like hope. Maybe I'm doing okay after all. Maybe this isn't as broken as I thought. Maybe we'll get through this. Together, it's been months now. I don't know exactly when everything started to feel different. Maybe it was when I stopped second-guessing every decision I made, and I've started seeing a therapist. The first session was brutal. I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to admit how much pain I'd been carrying for so long. But as the sessions go on, I feel lighter. I feel more me. The walls I built around myself for years are slowly coming down. It's not easy, but it's worth it. I think about Emily sometimes. I haven't heard from her in weeks, but I don't carry the same guilt I once did. I've set my boundaries, and I can't keep letting her pull me into a cycle that doesn't serve either of us. I still love her. I always will. But I can't be the one to fix her anymore. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I have permission to live for myself, to let go of the past and the pain that defined me for so long. And I want to keep moving forward. Not just for me, but for Grace too. She deserves a life free from the chaos I once carried. A life where she can learn to love herself without feeling like she has to carry the weight of everyone else's problems. I don't know what the future holds. I'm not going to pretend that everything is magically fixed, but I know that I'm finally free. Free to be the person I was always meant to be. And maybe that's the hardest part of all, letting go, but also holding on to what truly matters. The things that make me feel whole, the love I have for myself, the love I have for Grace. Everything else, everything that weighed me down, is slowly fading away. And that's okay. As I sit here, watching Grace play in the yard, I finally feel at peace. Maybe not all the time, maybe not perfectly, but enough to know that I'm on the right path. If you've been following this journey, thank you for being here. If you're enjoying the story so far, don't forget to subscribe to the channel